Happy Thursday, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we're going to get right into our day here. I am grateful, very, very grateful for each and every one of you participating with me in this mastermind. It starts my day off, and I just couldn't be more excited about that. These are my morning affirmations that I go over, sets up the tone of my day, helps me to remind myself about all the good things that I'm going to be doing today. And I love this. My wish, each time I meet someone, I will silently wish them happiness, joy, and laughter. And I want to remind everybody that this week it's Thursday. So our goal this week for the first 2 weeks of the month as a mastermind group was to get 3 or free qualified and help those on our team get 3 or free qualified and to get in the NLC club. And on my team, I've looked at the list. I'm going to post the list this weekend after Friday's day is over, so that you guys know, and we'll put it up on the Zoom on Monday. But I really want everybody to really go for it, because I think if we as a group can all get NLC 3 or free these first 2 weeks, we have a tremendous opportunity to make things happen in our organization and do the same thing. And again, I want to remind you that today is the purge, this purge that's happening. I don't know when it's happening. I don't know really how they're doing it. But, of course, it is the last minute, and there are going to be people that may call you and say, well, I didn't want to be purged or whatever. So just keep calm and just understand that, the company did put out 4 emails regarding this. And we did try to reach everybody that we possibly could in terms of, wanting them to jump on getting an ADO if they wanted to stay in. And those that didn't, I guarantee you this, you guys, it's going to be very, very good for all of us to start fresh, to be working with people that really want to be here, and working with people that really want to be part of the growth and development of what's happening with Nerium. So I'm super excited because we have one of our masterminds that is going to train with us today. And, I just got to spend almost a week with Caroline last week with the NLA and training together and running around town together. And she's incredibly, she's got a lot of energy, and she really wants this. But one of the things that I love about Caroline and working with her for the last couple of years is that she has really mastered the 3-way call. And she uses so many different people for her 3-way calls all the time. So she's really, she really is going to speak to that today. And I just adore her, and I am so excited for her to train with you guys today. So Caroline, take it away.
Thank you, Annie. Thanks for inviting me on here. I think it was funny when you asked me to train. I think both of us thought at the same time, maybe it should be 3-way calls, because we both know how much I love to do them, both with my prospects, but also, for my team. I love to do them. And I think the reason is because I didn't do them at the beginning. So I think I can really speak from experience that when I didn't do them, my business wasn't growing. And when I started to do them, I became obsessed with them because I know that they work. So I know I jumped in a little bit, but for the people that I don't know, my name's Caroline. I live in San Francisco, and I have 2 kids. And I was introduced to Nerium 2 years ago. Absolutely passionate about what I'm doing with Nerium, because when I think about what I used to do, this is amazing. I can't believe that this is what I get to do for work. I used to be in the fashion business for 15 years. It was a stressful fashion job. And, the fact that I get to now travel the world, stay at Annie's house, really grow my business and help other people build their business, again, it's just amazing. So back to, the 3-way calls, why do we do them? And I think if we understand why we do them, then I think we won't be so reluctant, or we won't think it's awkward to do a 3-way call. And I think maybe the reason why I didn't do them is because I just didn't understand or see the value. And so first, I think, our friends know us as we are. my example was I was in the fashion business. So for me to all of a sudden be a skincare expert, which I tried to be by talking my friends into joining me in the business, it didn't work because I had no expertise, I had no experience. And so I think that has a lot to do with it. The second thing is duplication that we always talk about. If we're sitting there talking our friend's ear off, again, which I did for half an hour, they might be looking at us and thinking, I don't want to do what Caroline is doing right now. Or I don't want to have to know all the answers, or I don't have time to know all the answers. So, I think those are kind of the big reasons, that all of a sudden when you understand, then you'll want to do the calls. And really, mainly it starts with your mindset with it. So again, if you understand it, then you're going to want to do them, but you have to have the mindset that you're not only doing them for yourself, for your business, but you're really doing them to help your prospect. Because if you think that it's going to be weird to get your friend on the phone, with somebody else, if you think you're tricking your friend into doing a call, then it's probably going to be weird. So, I think the main thing is you've got to understand that you're actually doing something, for your friend. You're actually getting your friend's questions answered properly by someone that knows the answers. And you're really helping them. You have to believe that you're helping them to go along the process to make a decision on whether Nerium is for them or not. So, once you decide that, I think that the next thing is, how do you transition to the three-way call? How do you get your friend to accept to talk to somebody else? And, I think my favorite one is to say, you've got to hear my friend's story. I don't think there's anything weird about that. No one's ever been like, no, I don't want to hear your friend's story. So I know that works for me personally. And, the other thing is when somebody's coming up with questions, that's the perfect time for you to say, you know what, I would love to get your questions answered. Let me get my friend Caroline on the phone. She'll be great at getting your questions answered. And, sometimes if you find people are a little hesitant or like, oh, no, I don't want to talk to somebody else, you answer my questions, you can say, and I, kind of stole this from Danny's training this Saturday in LA, that he said, let me get you on the phone with my friend because you're going to see how much support we have in this company. And so I thought that was a really good one. So then how do we decide on our expert? And I think, Annie already mentioned it. I definitely use maybe a dozen people, and I keep growing that list of experts that I use because I really do think that, the success of the three-way call has a lot to do on what if your expert is matching your prospect. So, that sometimes has to, could be if they have something in common, if they're both doctors in the medical world or they're esthetician, that has a lot to do with it. But I think it also has to do with their personality and their energy on the phone. And so I really try to match, my expert with my prospect's energy and how they might get along. So the next important thing is, when you get your expert on the phone, edifying your expert. So rather than just saying, oh, here, talk to my friend Caroline, I always like to say, we always talk about, we don't want to necessarily mention ranks or how much money that person is making. That's not what that's about. But really saying, oh my gosh, you've got to talk to my friend Lisa. She's a fabulous mom of two, and she's an entrepreneur, a mommy entrepreneur, and you've got to hear her story. That would be enough. But, definitely say something so that your friend takes it seriously, that you're putting them on the phone with somebody that's very busy, and then they can respect. I think that kind of going on to the next thing, but when you are the expert, I personally, I love doing the calls for my teams. And I think what I really start to do is the minute I get on the phone, I try to build a relationship with the prospect. So rather than just going into talking about the business or about myself, I'm asking about them. And I'm trying to find something in common that I can relate to, so that all of a sudden the prospect and I have a relationship. All of a sudden I could tell that she feels more comfortable talking to me on the phone. So that's the first thing I do. And then as we go through the call, we ask the magic question about, whether they've seen a video or tried the product. We ask them, what did you like best? And, from there, go on get to see if they have questions, what else you can answer for them. And then really, my favorite question is, and, many of us, Lisa is the master at this, but we say, do you see this opportunity for yourself? And, that allows the expert to really, that allows the prospect to really then give you the idea. No, I'm not sure I'm ready to do this right now. Or, yes, I do see this opportunity for myself, which we love that answer. And then it's up to us to just ask, so how about we get you started today? Is there anything else we can answer so that we can get you started today? And so that's how I kind of close the three-way calls as the expert. I don't know what else is on the slide or if I was supposed to cover anything else, but those are kind of the things that I felt I wanted to cover because, I truly believe that these are kind of the reasons why the three-way calls, I understand why they're successful. I would think most of my brand partners have come into the business because of three-way calls. So I'm always very excited to do them and tell my team to do them. And, I think that covers it all.
So Caroline, that was an awesome training. I had a question for you, and I'm sure other people do as well. So when you talked about the beginning, when you said, it's not weird, I don't feel weird. One of the things I personally have had trouble with three-way calls. I feel like I'm a pretty good expert, but I personally have had my own struggles with three-way calls, and yet you're absolutely right. Every time I've done a three-way call, it's been successful, but still I get apprehensive. So when you're doing the idea of telling somebody a three-way call, and you're saying, I want to get you on the phone to hear my friend's story, how is that coming up for you? Is it in the middle of you saying, this is what I do? I mean, how does that happen that you're able to kind of structure the three-way call? Is it something you do in advance, or do you make an appointment to do it, or is it off the cuff? What happens?
Great. Thank you for asking, because I'm sure I jumped all over, past that. But I really do plan my calls, as best as I can. Meaning most of the time I'm planning the calls. And sometimes it takes a little bit of rescheduling. It's really, I reach out to my prospect and say, hey, oh my gosh, we've got to catch up. When can I call you tomorrow? And I really do get a set time for my prospect of when I can call her. And then I reach out to different experts to see who will be available. And so at that time, I already know, my expert is ready. I call my friend and I'll say, hey, I know, you had been interested. We've been talking about Miriam, but you've got to hear my friend's story. She actually owns a clinic down in Southern California, just like you and your husband do. And you really should see how they're doing this business. So that would be, one way, but it's definitely planned ahead of time. I already know who my expert is to make the call happen.
That's awesome. Anybody have any good questions for Caroline? Because I feel like this is one of the key ingredients to this industry. And as you master your business, this is one thing that I think will definitely define and take you to another level. Anybody?
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Randy.
Okay. My question is that 90% of my need for a three-way call is spontaneous, because my sit downs are typically spontaneous. And so it becomes a challenge finding somebody available. How do you find somebody who's available when you do a spontaneous call like that?
I think personally, I schedule my sit downs. I think you're probably doing a lot more sit downs than I am, Randy, spontaneously. If I know I'm going to meet somebody, even for a coffee, I think it's always pre-planned with me. Or, if I happen to run into a mom at school or something and that's not planned, and she started asking me about, oh, what is this thing you're doing? What's Miriam? I'll say, let's grab a coffee. I want to tell you more. Or, when can I call you later? Let me tell you what's going on. And so I definitely kind of change the subject, run away from it in order not to talk. Another example might be like a party or a dinner, or even like, you're in a home with somebody, like a party type of environment. I'll change the subject. If somebody's asking me questions about the business, I'll purposely not, give them all the answers. And I'll say, oh my gosh, I'd love to tell you, let me call you, let's go see what the kids are up to, and change the subject. So I kind of get myself out of situations not to talk too much. I share my excitement. I share with them what I've been doing. But when it comes to them asking questions about the business or me, telling them more, I keep myself from doing that. I don't know if that helps, Randy.
It does. Thanks.
And, I want to mention that sometimes Caroline does schedule a call, and for whatever reason, it doesn't happen. You also have the ability on a three-way call with your expert to say, thank you for being available. She didn't answer, or she wasn't there, but I'm going to reschedule it. So just know that happens too, and you need to be sort of open to that. But that was a great question. Maria, did you have a question?
Just to go off of that, Annie, the rescheduling part. Well, one, I often feel really bad when we have to reschedule because you feel like you're wasting people's time. So that's something I just have to get over. But the other thing is, Caroline, how do you transition when you do have to reschedule a call? Like you had a planned call and either the person went missing or, one of those things happened, to not seem like, you're being too aggressive. What would you do in that instance?
Well, considering that happens all the time, some of my best prospects have been canceled three-way calls. I mean, some of my brand partners that have come in, it was through several attempts of trying to do a three-way call, trying to reschedule. So, when it doesn't happen and they disappear, I'll send them a text and say, hey, I know we wanted to talk today. Let me know if there's a better time. So, I just kind of put that out there. And if I don't hear from them for a couple of days, I'll reach out with another text message in a couple of days and say, hey, oh my gosh, I know the week is so busy, but I'd love to catch up. When is good for you? I think something that I think I'm pretty good at being pleasantly persistent. And the way that I take that around is I kind of blame it on myself sometimes to the prospect. I'll say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I meant to get in touch with you. When should we talk? Like, oh my gosh, I know we're both so busy. We didn't get to connect on Monday. Do you have time today? And I take it off of them that it's not their fault. It's my fault. I'm busy. And I feel like that's not really putting pressure on them. It's just following up because we were supposed to talk.
Awesome. Thank you.
I love pleasantly persistent. I think one of the key things to all of this is actually the right kind of follow-up. Suzanne, did you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, just a comment. And Caroline, amazing. Thank you so much. I want to highlight something you said because I think sometimes this critical part we forget as brand partners. I love how you said if you're with someone, and you're at a party or you're at an event or something, and they start asking you questions, you switch, you pull it away from talking about it there and just say, hey, I'll call you later. My example of that is the more we pull away from someone, what is it that they're doing? They're moving closer towards us. The more we go closer to someone, the more they're moving away from us. So that, I think, needed to be highlighted. I love that you said that, and I think we always need to remember that because they need us more than we need them. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. The takeaway, right? I love that too. Who else has a question or a comment for Caroline?
Hi, Caroline. It's Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi. So you are so awesome at three ways. If you would share, who do you do three ways with? Is it only prospects? What classifications of three ways?
Oh, no, not just prospect. I also do three ways with brand partners. That's what you mean, right?
Brand partners, customers.
Yeah. No. So thanks for asking.
Scheduling time.
Yeah, no, I mean, for so many reasons. So thanks for bringing that up. I think, I use three-way calls, obviously for welcome calls for new brand partners coming in. Perfect example was a call that, Lisa did for me with one of our new brand partners, Jen, earlier this week. She'd already, been on a welcome call. She's talked to different people, but there's never enough, experts that we can introduce our new brand partners to. And it was such an amazing call because they got to know each other. They got to see what they had in common. And now all of a sudden, Jen probably feels comfortable using Lisa as an expert for her three-way calls. So I think that's super important. And the more people we introduce our new brand partners to, the more people they're going to have in the Rolodex. Just like I said, having a dozen people always that I can text or call and ask to be an expert. So I think that's, obviously very important. Even for customers, Lisa's done three-way calls for my customers, calling, checking in on them to see, how they're enjoying their product. And oh my gosh, I'd love to get my friend Lisa on the phone to share, something that we're getting into, the wellness industry, for example. So, we could use three-way calls to plant a seed with our customers about what's going on. Yeah, and even brand partners that have been around for a while, but maybe have kind of dropped off for a few months and not really done much. I think a three-way call is super powerful, because sometimes if you're the one that's always talking to your brand partner, maybe they just kind of blocked your voice, like our kids do to us. So to get a three-way call to kind of get them re-engaged, I think is another great thing.
So one thing I think we also need to just share on the three-way call that's really important is, if you put together a three-way call and you have an expert, I know Caroline and most of you that I've done three-way calls are really good at this, but I want to mention this, that when you edify and you talk about your expert, at that point, you're supposed to completely mute yourself and kind of sit back and listen to the expert deal with your prospect. And after and I think I'm saying this right, Caroline, right? So after the call is over and the expert turns it back to you, what is it that you leave your prospect with?
Thank you for bringing that up, because of course I skipped over like all of the logistics and the proper things I was putting in my thoughts. So thanks for catching that. And yeah, so absolutely you have to mute yourself. And when the expert is hanging up, either your prospect is signing up as a brand partner or customer, and so you can be taking their information, or your prospect, might start to ask you more questions. Like, is that true? What she just said? Or, start asking you other questions. And at that point, you have to hang up. You have to say, oh my gosh, you know what? You have a couple more questions. Let's connect on the phone again. I got to go. Like, the kids are doing something. Or, oh my gosh, somebody's at my door. You want to get off the phone and not start answering questions to your prospect. Because if you do that, then you just de-edified your expert. You brought someone on that answered all their questions, and now everything you say all of a sudden, that's the last thing your prospect's going to remember. It's going to, just X out everything that the expert just did. So you do not stay on the phone. You do not answer questions. If more questions are coming up, again, you just say you have to go and let's talk again tomorrow.
And I think that really makes a lot of sense, because I think a lot of times we don't always say everything that we think we should say, we don't always, and so to interrupt the expert is a little bit de-edifying. I think that's awesome, Caroline. I think you did an amazing job, and I really, really, I want to be better with three-way calls, because I know how incredibly effective they are and successful they are, and I just appreciate you sharing your words of wisdom with us today, because I know all of us have, in this business, this is what the business is all about. I mean, there's just story after story after story of people who really get the three-way call are so successful in their business, and you are a testament to that. So thank you so much. I just want to quickly, because we're running out of time, I want to quickly just share with you a couple of things. First of all, Susan reminded me that we also want to make sure that you've talked to your brand partners about their ADOs and making sure their ADOs are running if they want to not be purged. Okay, they can order any product, by the way. So I'm reminding everybody again about May 1st, and one of the things I loved on the three-way call idea is that this is a great way to do a three-way call, calling your customers and have somebody else talk about the health and wellness that's coming. I think that's an awesome idea, and you could actually do that on a PCC call. Yeah, and I think that's a really, really great thing to make sure that, if you have any kind of feeling that you don't want to talk to your customer yourself, this is a way that maybe you can get a couple of your customers on a call, do a PCC, and really explain what's coming. Okay, so I want to run through this tonight. I'm so excited. Teresa Walbrink's going to be over at the Vizieri's, and this is awesome. And you guys, if you have anybody in the East Valley that's near there, or in Ventura or Camarillo or anywhere, they should definitely take the drive out to come and see Teresa. She's so awesome. And Susan Harris is going to be in Santa Barbara, and that's going to be amazing. And I'm showing you guys this because I'm showing you the activity that's going on with this company. It's ramping up in a big, giant way, and there are market parties showing up everywhere. Sandy Cooper and Dory are having a little market party in San Fernando Valley over in the West Valley, so that's going on. And then in Temecula, Aaron Garcia, and I know Janet Early is going to be out there. So you know, you can see in just, this is just, I'm talking about Southern California, but now we're in, you know, the East Coast. Dale's doing a couple of market parties. Oh, and then here's Dr. Joy Bozzo and Dr. Josh, who are in Santa Monica, and they're going to be doing an EHT and beyond. And then we've got more New Jersey. And I know if you go online, you're going to see a lot of other market parties. And then we're going to San Francisco. Yay, super excited about that. And then, of course, St. Louis. We got our tickets. We're all set to go. And I'm watching the ticker on our team page to find out, you know, who's set up to go. And we want to make our plans to have an awesome, great time with our Epic group and people all over. And that, you guys, is our day today. Boy, I just feel like we got so much great information today. What a great mastermind this whole week, you know, with you know, market parties and Lisa and just everybody who's contributing. I couldn't be more thankful to all of you. I feel like this is really helping me on a daily basis. I know, I hope it's helping all of you, and I just appreciate each and every one of you. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's all get NLC and 3 are free. Okay, thank you. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline.
Thank
you, Annie.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great training.
Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Caroline.